Welcome everybody to today's 1 million by 1 million strategy roundtable for entrepreneurs. As you probably know, this is the 1M1M program with the intent of helping 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in annual revenue and beyond by 2020. So it's a very ambitious, audacious goal, and we need you to succeed in your endeavors to be able to, for us to be able to meet our goal. So our entire focus is on making you successful. This is our 125th free roundtable. We've been doing this since the fall of 2008. We kind of just started experimenting with this format of doing, strategy roundtables way back when my first book was released. So it's been around. Obviously, it's being used quite extensively by the entrepreneurial community, and we are very happy to be here for you. We have a couple of very interesting announcements. So first one, this is an announcement about stimulating entrepreneurship in Britain. We are partnering with ANN Media, which is Britain's largest media company, one of Britain's largest media company, and Tech Hub, one of the entrepreneurship development organizations in Britain, in London. We are starting with an event at Tech Hub on May 22nd in London. This is going to be a business plan competition for which ANN Media is awarding 1 million by 1 million scholarships. So if you're in Britain and you're interested in availing of this opportunity, please do so. Please also keep in mind that ANN Media has access to 130 million consumers. Largely, they reach 45% of the adult population in Britain, and they also reach outside of Britain. So this, by the way, is true. This channel through ANN Media is going to be accessible to entrepreneurs around the world, not just the British entrepreneurs, through 1M1M, as and when we see that you have a validated business that can go into this channel for scaling purposes. We will open the doors to let you access this channel. So definitely keep this in mind. 130 million consumers is a lot of consumers. The second announcement is two Silicon Valley companies, BlueSnap and Elance, are awarding 12 1 million by 1 million scholarships to digital commerce and subscription businesses. And this competition is on right now, and the entries are coming in as we speak. The deadline is May 11th, I believe. So the URL for the application and the information is on your screen, so you can apply for that one as well. So there's going to be a lot of corporate partnerships that you will see coming from 1M1M, and these are the first three corporate partnerships that we're announcing right now on the occasion of the 125th roundtable. But we've also been doing these we've had partnerships with Microsoft and so on and so forth. So please avail of these opportunities, and we definitely look forward to having you win some of these scholarships. Now, if you're following us on Twitter, you can use the hashtag 1M1M if you're retweeting live tweeting during this show, and at 1M by 1M and at Sramana are our two Twitter accounts that you're welcome to follow. Pop-up Shop is our first presenter. Who is going to be presenting? Stephen Lucero. Stephen, please unmute.
Hi. I'm sorry?
Unmute your line and come and tell us what you're doing.
Yes. So good morning, afternoon to everybody. I'm actually here based in London where we're launching, and we are actually pitching at the ANN event. We're a member of Tech Hub, so we're looking forward to that.
I see that you have Gokul on your advisory board. How did you connect with Gokul?
I've known Gokul for many years. Principally, he is my brother-in-law, so that makes it easy.
Got it.
And so he was, anyways, he recommended this roundtable very highly, so I'm very, very thankful for that. And what we're doing is we've established a social media for pop-up shops. And pop-up shop-up seeks to take advantage, actually, of a worldwide phenomena that is only growing, where there are temporary retail events being set up in vacant commercial spaces in large urban areas, and actually some small cities as well, for entrepreneurs specifically to get into business without a huge capital outlay, and then for large brands, and in fact every Fortune 1000 company now uses pop-up-sized vehicles for promotional and product marketing. Again, first because of the low cost, and second because of the engagement. The buzz media around pop-ups is really truly amazing. What we seek to do is make that bigger and better. But more importantly, if you can go to the next screen. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, nothing's happening on my computer.
Do we see the next slide?
Yeah, we see the next slide. You can go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Well, the real opportunity is to avail the social media pop-up shop-up to allow brands and entrepreneurs to get a much higher engagement with and of the consumer. The next slide. And the next slide should be the problem. Yes?
You have a few slides that are just kind of, I think there's a problem with, there's like little crosses, so we are not seeing certain slides. We see a solution here, which says the pop-up sector exists but needs a platform to maximize engagement and experience.
Yes, let me go ahead and pull up my main. If you don't mind, I apologize for this. I don't know why I'm not seeing it on the screen, the WebEx screen.
Just keep going. We'll follow
yep.
along.
So the problem is that pop-ups and brands use traditional media and traditional methods to plan, launch, and promote the pop-ups, which ultimately means they're using newspaper advertising and paid PR and then rely on word of mouth to get their consumers. Once consumers do go, they don't know who they are. They have no data on that customer or the consumer. And while they may have a large crowd and get great media from it, and they may get some sales, the bigger problem becomes that after the event, they have no lifetime value realization because they can't follow and build a relationship with that brand. So you may see me. I just disconnect. It says I've disconnected, but I'm still here. Hello.
Yeah, we're listening.
Okay. So the solution is to create a digital platform that it's a curated membership-based website. We launched that. That went live in late January. Our members come in to become members, and we ask them to fill out an opted-in preference sheet or page, and we get to invite them to pop-up events that they've indicated they have interest in, either because of the product sector, the product, or the brand. And so we have highly engaged and interested customer. We invite them to the pop-up. They get to the pop-up, and a couple of things happen. They check in using a QR code check-in technology we are developing. And at that point, that becomes a billable event for us. We bill the pop-up or the brand for the placement of that person. So while we have a B2C face, the business model is a B2B social media. So we are able to bill for that placement, and then at the same time, after check-in, the member receives a free gift, which we promise and can get, a discount for purchase if there's purchasing then or in the future, and then they're connected. We connect them with our social media, our social networks, Facebook, Twitter, so that anything they shout out via pictures or comments or video, we spread out via our network as well. And what that allows us to do, in addition to driving the traffic and providing a direct engagement for that pop-up, as members go to the pop-ups and check in and potentially buy something, we collect consumer behavior information. And if they say, tweet, photograph, or video anything while they're there, we are able to collect brand awareness, brand opinion information. So we expect an analytics engine to be born that marries offline, inline, and after so many visits by a member, we can get into a predictive methodology of looking at how consumers buy, what they're buying from the online to the inline, as well as what they think.
So before you go on, let me ask you a clarification question here. What is your definition of a pop-up event? Is something happening at that event, or is it just a pop-up advertisement?
I'm sorry. A pop-up event represents a temporary retail event. It means it's a fashion, a product store shop, or a restaurant, temporary restaurants, supper clubs, secret dining clubs, or it's an entertainment event. Could be a gallery, could be poetry, could be literature, could be culture. So pop-up events across every product sector, from apparel to cosmetics to electronics to cars, Ford, Mercedes, all use them, GM, to food and beverage, and then entertainment.
Okay.
And when we say
what is your game plan of reaching the organizers of these pop-up events?
So here in London, we launched in London for this reason. There's a very strong pop-up community. They're very, very well used and known, and there are marketers, store construction, store design specialists, and we were able to get into that community quickly and easily. And we've done two things. We're able to ask now our associates, what are the pop-ups that are coming up, and they tell us. The agencies, whether PR or advertising, are now calling us in advance of a pop-up going live to let us know, so we can promote it, and possibly then they can engage us to drive traffic or provide other services to help them pop up. So we have started to become the center of this community in our ability to provide the B2B services, as well as we have thousands of members, and we are able to show direct engagement for pop-ups. Okay. And a lot of it is still doing. We have the normal web crawlers. We know what people are publicizing, what they're going to do and where they're going to do it. We grab that as well. We grab some of that as well. And we currently have the largest database of pop-ups in London. The same thing can be said for New York, a very strong pop-up community, and that is growing very fast in LA, Sydney, Australia, Berlin, San Francisco. So they exist everywhere, and in certain urban areas, the local community of pop-ups is really strong and growing.
So how do you get into that pop-up community? It seems like it's kind of like an organic grassroots community. I guess the question I'm asking is, how do you bring that community in? Do you have to go sell to the agencies who are organizing the events, or the brands who are organizing the events?
No, actually, it's really been able to offer something that no one has offered yet. So we're the only social media in London that's doing this. There's still yet not one in the U.S., but we have two new competitors. They're 3 weeks old, so we'll see where they're going. So part of it is just getting attention. We got noticed right away as soon as we did this. And then the biggest, I think the biggest thing that happened to get us better positioned is we learned or knew early on that we would need to do some collaborative events. So we've done some events where we actually help the pop-ups find their space, find the designer and fit-out specialists. We're doing one in 4 weeks where we have collaborated with Kickstarter's competitor here in London called People Funded. We're going to crowdfund the cost of the pop-up for this startup company, SME rather, small business. So we've done these collaborative events, and people talk, and so we're getting a lot of interest and exposure via our Twitter account, our Facebook page. We have over 9,000 members, our fans rather, on Facebook. So it started out somewhat organic, and it's getting a bit more. I don't want to say viral, but it has a life of its own at this point, and we just got ourselves recognized. I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry, Sramana, say again?
What is the business model? The
business model is B2B. So we charge pop-ups or brands for placement of engaged and targeted customers, and we then also charge for ancillary services such as space location, matchmaking for store designers, visual merchandisers, or fit-out specialists, and potentially crowdfunding.
I see. So primarily you're selling audience.
We are selling audience, yes.
I see. Okay. Right.
Okay. And I think I've said this, but the value proposition ultimately is that we're able to deliver targeted customers who've already indicated they're interested in a particular product or sector to the brand or the pop-up or the small business that is looking for them. Once we do that, once our members go and they check in, and at the end of that event for us, we hand that database over to the brand of the pop-up. So we get out. We don't get in the middle of that relationship. We're not a deal site. We're not a flash sale site. We want them to create a relationship and start recognizing some lifetime value for doing so.
Don't expect repeat customers. If you hand over the database, there's no repeat customers, right?
Maybe not for that pop-up brand, but that same demographic has other, or that same consumer is going to have other interests outside of that one particular brand.
Yeah,
and so they'll always.
But the reason I'm going there is that recruiting customers, B2B customers, is an expensive process, and if you just do one event and let go of the database with that event, then basically that customer acquisition cost cannot be leveraged very much for later stuff.
By us, you mean?
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, it's never been done, so you're right. We're going to have to A/B that quite a bit, but in the UK, we commissioned a market study that said there's 8.6 million consumers that have gone, are going, and will go to pop-ups. I don't think we'll run out of consumers that quickly. And on the B2B side, most of the pop-ups are small businesses, pop-up restaurants, and they're not there all the time. They come and go once. So it's a very, very finite relationship to leverage.
So you're basically kind of aligning yourself with the events and then handing over the event database over to the people who are organizing the events, and they are paying for that access to the event.
That's correct. That's correct.
List. Okay, got it. Yeah. All right.
Our traction to date, we have over 2,000 members. We have over 9,000 Facebook fans. We are now over 300 followers on Twitter. Most impressively for us, though, is that our newsletter, we have a weekly newsletter that we launched since last September, and we've continued to average 40+% on our open rate and over 15%. Actually, it's now gone as to 70% average on the click-through. So that tells us a very engaged consumer base who want to go to pop-ups or are interested in pop-ups regularly.
50–60% engagement is very good. What is the size of the newsletter subscription list?
Reaches, hold on. It's small. It's under 6,000 a month.
Okay.
It's growing. No, it's not bad.
Okay. All right. Got it.
Validation, we've talked to brands, we've talked to agencies, we've talked to small businesses, and at the end of the day, it's very clear to us that they're going to continue to use pop-ups, and they want a higher engaged experience for them. So they want to have a much better understanding and knowledge of the consumer or customer going to their pop-ups. And I think we've been able to validate that very clearly.
And this £10 per member price point, that is a validated price point?
The £10 per member is actually yes, but in so much that we're only going to charge the brand pop-up that contracted us £5, and then part of what we want to help them with is create what we call the social retail experience. We want to make it more exciting, so it's not just a shopping experience. So we will bring complementary brands as affiliated sponsors to each event, and if the primary pop-up pays us £5, then each one thereafter pays us, say, 3 pounds and 2 pounds, and that'll get us to 10.
Okay.
For acquisition of the same customer.
And you're assuming that per event there are going to be 500 attendees? No.
So there's two pricing models. On some events where we don't think, well, we know we won't be able to charge per placement or per person. For example, pop-up restaurants don't have it within the budget to do so necessarily, or a charity may not be able to afford that, we don't believe. So what we do then is we negotiate a group sponsorship. So we bring large sponsors to the table, and we're looking at £5,000 per event, and that's our revenue, right? And we still drive our membership, and they still get the benefits, but we've changed the revenue, how we derive the revenue.
So here's my observation on this business model stuff and the sales model and the scalability of the sales model is very high-touch selling for relatively low numbers, and that's where you're going to have scalability issues.
Okay.
You need to work on the business model to make it something that has more repeatability, scalability built in. Otherwise, this is going to be custom negotiation for every single 5,000-pound pop, and that just does not scale.
What if there is a large corporate brand that's willing to be an annual sponsor at a much higher, I mean, obviously a very large number, and they are the sponsor for all the events?
It all depends on what you can bring to the table.
Okay.
That may be going with large sponsors may be the way to go, but it all depends on what you can bring to the table, what validation you can do. But I think this kind of 5,000 pound per event, which is all custom negotiated. I mean, you can build a business with it. I'm not saying you cannot build a business with it, but
it's not scalable.
It's not scalable at all.
But the per placement fee is, but it has to be tweaked.
Per placement fee may be scalable. Per placement fee may be scalable, but getting 500 people to an event is not a joke at all.
Well, most pop-ups, and I should have clarified this, most pop-ups last anywhere from, yes, a few days, but more likely it's 2 weeks to 3 months. So we would have anywhere from 2 weeks to 3 months to get to 500 or more members to go.
Okay, well, start testing and see what comes.
Okay.
And I think you should just stick to London for the time being because you're not ready to expand. Without getting the model right, I wouldn't recommend going to New York and all that. You should first get the business model right and how you monetize and those things, because just spreading yourself thin across multiple cities without clarifying the models is not going to help you.
We agree. So our go-to-market plan is launch, which is now. Our rev model should be 2 to 3 months. We expect to be fully tested, but it could be longer. And then only after that will we look to go to New York. Yeah,
I would just stay focused on London right now, because this kind of high-touch selling in 2 different major cities is not going to be a cheap process, not going to be inexpensive. So I would stay put in London and build the business in London, and basically get all the pieces in place in terms of your model. And then once you got that, the rest of the scaling is a matter of putting in more money. But until you get the model right, you would not be able to attract any kind of money.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, all right. The next presenter is vConnect. And who is the next company is vConnect? Who's the presenter? Is it Pramod who's presenting?
No, Sramana, it's not me.
Who is?
Mine is the last.
It's Kiran Kumar.
Kiran Kumar. So I don't see Kiran Kumar on my panel anymore. Kiran Kumar, are you there?
I wonder if he was disconnected. He was on.
Okay. Maureen, you sort out Kiran Kumar. I will forward over to, let's see, who's next? Active NMS, Uma. If you
Yes,
could
I'm here.
And tell us what you're doing.
Good morning. And first off, I want to thank Sramana and her team for giving an opportunity to present here and the audience who are tuned in today. The name of the product we are developing is Active NMS, and my partners are Dan Needles and Jeff Sheehan. My background is more in computer science. I have 20 years, the first 10 years in more engineering and systems-oriented applications, the past 9 years as a consultant. Dan Needles is an expert on the implementation side of the NMS. The NMS stands for Network Management Systems. And Jeff Sheehan has 30 years of experience in software sales and marketing. And currently he's engaged in B2B marketing consulting. We are all engaged as small business as consultants, and we are looking towards, it's like a pre-launch, we are looking towards building this full product. And Active NMS is a proactive network management software, and NMS stands for Network Management Systems. It provides automated network failure prevention and recovery features, and it provides automated configurations. The benefits are to reduce network management expenses up to 40%, to accommodate for network expansion, and to reduce the time spent in manual recovery and associated expenses. There are a lot of competing products in the market today, including the large players like IBM, Tivoli, HP OpenView, and CA Nerve Center. All these products, they provide automated network monitoring, but the recovery is always manual. In other words, the most advanced thing we have today is someone being like a NetOps being paged by the monitoring software if something goes wrong, but they always come in to manually recover the situation. So we call this automated monitoring but manual intervention software, and there are hundreds of players. Next slide, please. To give us some idea about where we are today versus where we want to go, here's an oversimplified example of a server failure triggering SMS calls to NetOps. The NetOps may be in a cafeteria, or he may be out in his home, he's away from his shift. He gets paged, and he's required to come in manually to recover the situation. Next slide, please. With Active NMS software, the server is auto-reconfigured. There are no calls to NetOps. They don't have to come in to manually recover the situation. So we save the expenses in manual recovery saves here. The technology behind Active NMS is to provide for automated initial device configuration. By this, what we mean is when you unpack devices like multi-protocol, multifunction machines, printers, scanners, and gadgets, and put it onto a network. Right now, the current command and console type software we have in the market, the NetOps is required to do some manual configuration. Walk up after powering up the device, they need to walk up to the device and configure to some extent. Most of it is automated, but it's not fully automated. So we are working on developing some proprietary algorithms in this space to make it completely seamless. The NMS software would automatically detect the devices and configure it. It includes a network probe. Sorry, it's the previous slide again. It includes a network probe and analyzer to identify network stress, and it reconfigures the network based on user-defined stress parameters. Active NMS scales support large networks. Most of it will be in the style of a traditional desktop software, but some of it can be in the software as a service model. When we say this, we need to qualify. Data centers today are powered by servers, but these physical servers are still monitored by traditional desktop software today. But once we are in production, we believe that customers within the same vertical share some network characteristics. So once we set up the stress parameters for one customer, this data could be shared, sold to another customer. Say, for example, we have a consultant who is an expert in healthcare data centers, and we develop a configuration for one customer, then we can sell this data to another customer. So from this viewpoint, setting up the configuration data or sharing it or selling it can be done through components that are in the software as a service model. But the actual software that would monitor the network and prevent the network failures would be a traditional desktop software. The target customers are small, medium businesses, data centers, agencies, in fact, anyone who owns a data center today. The target users are NetOps, and the people who make decisions to buy the software are CIOs who normally budget for NMS software expense. Next slide, please. The status is we are proposing to NSF for the seed money, the R&D seed money for $150,000. It's a grant. We had one prior rejection because of the lack of a commercial partner. But what we mean by this is they thought we are too small to take it to the market. We don't have a prior experience. And some of the configured and probe code are available. If you think of the software as having 5 distinct components, there are 2 components and some of the code is available. It's bootstrapped to some extent. Gambit Communications wants to be our commercial partner. They are in the network simulator software space. They're not our competitors, but they have a good sales channel serving the enterprise software market. So they are willing to help us take the product to the market by taking some equity. We have not discussed the share at this point, but at some point we would have formal arrangements where we will discuss how much equity we want to give them for being our channel partner. The next steps are to find the investor partners, and if we get funded by NSF, they let us pool money from investment from outside VCs and angels, and we need funding to complete R&D and begin full product development.
What you've presented is not ready for funding at all. This is a very, very crowded space, as you articulated right up front, and I don't believe that there are not self-correcting servers. I know a fair amount about this space. There are tons of players, and there's a lot of work going on in data center, network management software, and so forth. So you don't have a sharp enough competitive positioning to fully give anybody, any investor, any confidence that you really do understand the space, the competitive dynamics of the space. Whenever you go into a space that is that crowded, investors can't really decide where to invest unless you educate them on the absolute nitty-gritties of the space or who is doing what. And that level of granularity is completely missing from what you presented today.
Yeah, see, this is a 3-minute pitch, but I started this, I came up with this concept and concept revealed and had it validated somewhere in 2009, but I didn't get funded. I've been trying. I've been observing the space, and I could almost assert that all the products, they provide automated monitoring, but not automated recovery. It's always manual.
That's not true.
For example, there is something called AlterPoint software. It automatically restores if, for example, a device or network node fails, it automatically restores the initial configuration from a centralized database. So that we call initial configuration. So it deals with one aspect. For example, IBM has some research based on emulating Mother Nature in auto-correcting networks, and it's like a research thing, but they don't have any set goals for commercial grade software. There are people doing research and doing things. I've not observed anything that's like somewhat holistic, at least address like 70 to 80% of automation in the recovery in the market. There are people who are attempting. They've done, some things have been done in configuration, some things have been done in the user management, authentication and things like that, but not in the traditional server network node management. And I can almost 100% certainly say that, but having this…
customers do you have that are willing to vouch for that statement?
No. All that I can say is that my observation from, and what I've presented…
Your observations are not sufficient for any investor to feel comfortable.
I've pitched with technology incubators and other locations. They see R&D as a risk. Angels, I've approached angel investors. They've told me very clearly that we need to see the product in demo, or you should be tracking customers for us to be even interested in. At this point, it's too early to invest. The too early is what I have heard so far.
Right. They're exactly right. You haven't done what it takes to qualify for funding yet.
Yeah. So I agree with this to some point. So how do we solve?
You're not listening. If you don't want to listen, then there's no point doing this roundtable.
Sure, go ahead. Go ahead with your observation.
No point. If nobody is interested, no investor is interested in what your hunch is. If you're sitting in the lab and making assumptions, you need to go out there and talk to customers and have customers validate your assumptions and tell you that, yeah, this is a real problem, and if you can solve this problem, we are going to buy the software. And here's, if it's a real problem, they will tell you how much money they're willing to pay, and some of them are going to give you projects to build the product for them.
Yeah, I agree. So to some extent, this situation is called chicken or egg. You know, investors won't
There's no
approach
chicken
us.
and egg. This is how every startup develops. Any successful startup will have to go get customers.
So when they approach customers, they're going to ask us.
Start before the horse.
See,
You're going
customers.
to going to customers.
They want to see a demo or something that's you know, we could show them. We have not gotten to that point. So that's what I call by chicken or egg, meaning that we don't have anything to demo.
You need to discuss the problem. You're not doing this right. You need to discuss the problem. Is this a problem for a customer, and is the customer able? Is the customer willing to? Does the customer somehow believe that you have a solution? You have to be able to create a convincing vision of the solution. I mean, in concept, this sounds fine, but these are difficult problems, and I know there are entrepreneurs who are working on this problem. Security is one of the most prolific spaces as far as entrepreneurship is concerned. So I think the level of depth and the level of awareness you're going to customers with is not sufficient, and nobody believes that you can deliver the solution. That's what's going on. And the angels and the VCs don't see any customer traction, any kind of comfort that you have something that customers are willing to buy, so they don't buy it.
So that's one of the reasons why we are looking into NSF. NSF has topics matching this area, and they have already validated that this problem exists. They want people to solve it, so that's why we are submitting against this particular topic. And we are also trying with DOD. DOD has certain topics under proactive network management, very specifically in this category, which are unresolved. These topics have been appearing for the past 3 or 4 years. And the challenge we have there is with DOD, it would be $100,000 for the phase 1 R&D, and I'm not sure if, you know, once I get inside, I would be under pressure to raise a little bit more money or bootstrap and money which we don't have at this point because it's so small. At least we would need like 4 developers in the, you know, doing scripting, programming, and R&D with the principal investigators like me or my partners not taking out any salary. So we would be very constrained. That's one of the reasons we want to either have NSF or DOD first validators with the phase 1 grant, and then the extra 50 or 80,000 we would need. We can either bootstrap or you know, have an angel. You know, since one of these agencies, if they validate us, then they would be outside investors willing to look at it. So that's the plan.
Is not financeable, except for these NSF, DOD grant kind of stuff. The stage you're in right now is not financeable. You can do friends and family, but that's about all you can do. Institutional funding, this is not doable yet. You're not ready for institutional funding. You haven't put the pieces together yet for institutional funding.
Yeah, I agree. So one of the requests I have for you is, since you know, I completely agree with you. Our situation is like this. So unless the NSF or DOD validates us or we are able to bootstrap, we won't be able to move forward. But if you think there is anyone in this space with whom we can connect, create relationships. For example, right now, as a consultant, we have worked with certain corporations, and we are trying to present this concept to them to see if they're interested or collaborate in some way, like channel partners or something. So if you think you can open doors for us in connecting us with someone who may be interested in hearing us, we would be very happy with that. Any help you can provide us.
There's an exchange, innovation exchange called 9 Sigma.
Okay.
Why don't you take a look at 9 Sigma and put yourself, join the exchange and see if you can get projects through 9 Sigma that might help you with, you know, developing your intellectual property for real customers.
Sure.
Okay.
Anything else, Sramana?
No, I mean, you can wait and hear about what we do and how we help customers, how we help entrepreneurs. Later on in the show, and decide that if you decide that you want to join the program, you're welcome to join the program.
Sure, but at this point, do you think it's too early for us to join? Do you think it's too early for us to join?
No, nothing is too early it's not too early for anybody to join the program. We have people who are complete concept stage entrepreneurs working on this, and they learn how to validate and how to do all the things that you have not done. And I think you need to learn how to do those things.
I agree. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Pramod, you are up next.
Yes, Sramana. I think you need to come to Kerala now for a vacation. This was a little heated, I believe. Anyways, So let me just pitch my idea. I am CEO Intelisa BPO Services Private Limited, and what I'm going to pitch today is a new concept, an idea that came to us: smartphone support. All right. To tell you a little bit about me, I'm an engineer in electronics with over a decade plus of industry experience, and I have worked setting up customer service and retention cells for various companies like US Technologies, Satyam, iYogi, and IBS. Okay, I also do freelance consulting for small firms setting up customer service and retention cells. Based on my prior industry experience and domain knowledge, I have found our present company Intelliserve in 2010. Our organization's core business interest lies in offering technical support services to corporates as well as residential clients. We also do BI analytics and custom BI development for our clients. Okay, so there is this new bring your own device.
Hold on.
Yeah.
You do remote technical support for corporates and consumers, which are two different businesses. Yes. And you do custom enterprise BI development, which is a third different business. Why are you in so many different businesses? Why aren't you building one business properly?
Sramana, we started with the BPO in Trivandrum, but what happened is our customers asked us if we could do this as well. So what we did is, I have a company in Nisgad who I outsource this BI development to right now. I'm not touching it. What I'm doing is I'm just taking it from the client, passing it on to that company. Remote support services is what we do at our center in Trivandrum for businesses as well as for consumers, basically, who are home users. So that is what we do.
I'll just tell you what I see here, and you can do what you like with that feedback. Please don't try to do disparate, disjointed businesses. It defocuses you to stay focused on a core business. As little companies, you cannot do multiple businesses. You have to be very focused on exactly what is your core business and just execute on that.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
All right.
So, Sramana, just to tell you about the present scenario, which is the pain area. Due to this bring your own device campaign adopted by most of the companies, the smartphone has proliferated like anything. These days, there are a lot of smartphones in the market. People are buying like crazy. So in countries like UK, US, Australia, and Canada, these are actually, clubbed up along with a service plan. What happens is, even for basic issues like how to set up email or how to turn on Bluetooth, these customers end up calling these technical supports. 99% of these technical supports are based in India, very overwhelmed, very small teams. They don't know how to do it, and ultimately it ends up customers getting very irate and with the service. The only thing which is holding them right there is the service contract. If they cancel it, they are in trouble. So I'm telling you, this whole area right now, I'm myself a smartphone user. I'll tell you what I had to go through when I had problems in my smartphone. It's a big area. There are close to 450 million smartphone users globally right now, and with the ads and promotions which companies are doing, there are close to 1.5 billion which will reach by 2016. That is predicted. Okay, so there are close to 200 million users in US alone, and about 50% of them are using their smartphone just as a camera or maybe an MP3 player. You know how Apple markets its smartphone, says the best camera available till date is on the iPhone 4. That's how they sell it. So basically these people are just using these phones as feature phones. I still hear people saying, my phone's got 9 megapixel camera, which doesn't make sense because it's a smartphone. It's supposed to do a lot of things. So, I also went through Google and I researched, and I found out there are close to 120 million searches which happens every month, just to find out help. And there is not even a reliable website where you can go and, check out all the information or, probably get help or any kind of training. So, this is where we decided to jump the bandwagon.
What business are you trying to do? Is this a consumer smartphone help business?
Yes, it is. It would be, there are 3 important links in the smartphone chain, which is consumer, the service provider, and the app vendor. My business will connect all 3. I'll tell you how. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, our pitch is very simple. We are here to change the status quo. Right now, what we have on the internet is a bit of, content put by self-proclaimed geeks. There are a lot of, situations wherein people just follow those steps and their phone ends up being a brick. It's the word which is used. If you destroy your phone, it's called, being bricked. So what we do is we are here to fix accountability. Okay, first of all, we are going to provide the most comprehensive and professionally written knowledge base for smartphone device customers, OEMs, and app vendors. App vendors can go ahead and contribute to this knowledge base, and they can create knowledge base to take help. OEMs can go ahead and contribute if they want. I'm trying to take it to the enterprise level after some time, but presently it would be launched to customers. What I'll have is a single touch installable app using which you're looking at the wireframes and screenshots of the actual app, which is right now under development. From this app itself, you can search, you can chat, you can email, you can do a remote assistance, you can talk to people using this app itself, and we are there to help if you have a problem with your smartphone. So
and what is the assumption about where the content is going to come from? Are you expecting that the OEMs and the app vendors are going to develop all the contents and give you all the content?
Actually, no. What I have done is I have sit down and I have created close to 2,500 knowledge base articles. I have identified close to 150 phones, and each phone will have about 20 to 30 articles. This is a social platform that I'm going to use. I'll show you the screenshot in the coming slides. What people can do is they can comment on each step saying that, okay, this worked for me, this didn't work for me. And this is going to be a professional knowledge base. We are going to use crowdsourcing, wherein people can go ahead and contribute. We will do moderation. We will check if it's genuine, and then we will go ahead and publish it. App vendors can register with us free of charge. They can go ahead and contribute. Even phone companies and service providers can also go ahead and contribute. But apart from that, I also have another process wherein every new issue which is reported to us, we will go ahead and create a document in the knowledge base immediately as soon as the issue is solved. All right. So in the next slide, what you're looking at right now is the screenshot of the knowledge base taken through a phone. All right. And let me talk to you about our strategy to achieve the first 100,000 customers first. It's going to be a free knowledge base. All right. It's going to be a native app for iPhone, Android, BlackBerry, and Windows. There is no such app as of now. If you go to BlackBerry market or iPhone market or any marketplace, you search for support, you won't get anything. So this is a gap that I'm trying to fill. It's going to be free support. Try and buy model is what I'm thinking to implement. There will be ad campaigns on social media sites and search engines. Let me just tell you, I did a small ad campaign using Google AdWords, and I got close to 200,000 hits on my campaign, which was just run for 10 days. So I'm just trying to tell you how big market that we are actually looking at. And most of the
that you got, what happened to those? What came out of those? What was the call to action of the campaign?
Actually, what I did is I put a price tag there, and I did a small funneling test just to find out how many people clicked on buy now button. Okay, nothing happens after that. If you click on buy now button, it just takes you to a form, and nothing else happens. So I was just seeing how many people are doing it. So there was close to 24% who actually did it. So and that too at $120 per annum price point. So what I'm saying is there are people who are interested in such a thing. Yes,
maybe that may be true. I think the product that you're trying to build is not a cheap product to build. This is going to be an expensive product to build. And
yeah,
now you're trying to give this for free, which means that the go-to-market strategy is basically, there's no business model with this go-to-market strategy for a while. So how are you going to build this company?
Sramana, that's actually a very good observation. What I'm going to do is, see, my model has a chance to go viral because it's free, it's support. So what I'm thinking is, initially I'll go with a free model wherein I'll generate a customer base. Then I'll go with a premium model wherein till point X.
How long can you bootstrap? How long can you finance this yourself?
I have some seed funding as well as some from my pocket which can sustain me for the next 6 months, at least till phase 2. Post that, I'm planning to pitch this to VCs, wherein we can get some investment to take it to the next level.
So I'm not convinced that this is something that's going to reach enough level of validation in 6 months, because it's going to take you some time to build this product. This product is not simple to build at all.
You're absolutely right. The app is already under the build process.
The framework of the app is not the issue. It's the content that's where you're going to run into trouble.
That is right, Sramana. At present, what I have is close to 2,500 professionally written knowledge base articles there, which are actually going to be accessed through the phone. If, say, for example, you use an iPhone, if you're accessing from the iPhone, you will only get iPhone related documents. So initially, that is what I'm looking at. I'm also planning to crowdsource it, release this platform to a couple of my customers who are from the technical support PC side, and see if they feel it is good and if they can contribute. I'm also planning to hire some people to go ahead and do this knowledge base. So initially, yes, the bootstrapping process is actually very well planned that I have, which I think can go properly, but still you're a better judge, so I would go by that what you said. Let's
all
see,
I'm going to tell you is that things like this take a lot longer than you think.
That's true.
And you have to budget for that. You don't want to loiter into these kinds of situations. You want to know how you're going to sustain yourself. If it takes 18 months instead of 6 months, how are you going to sustain yourself?
That is true, Sramana. Actually, I was part.
The phone changes, right? The phones change, the models change, and lots of new issues come up, and blah blah blah. So, so you have to take all of that into account.
Yeah, that is true. I completely understand that. What I was trying to tell you is, we faced similar situation about 5 years ago when iYogi was launched. I was part of the 5-member team who started iYogi. So there was a lot of challenges. So I have been in the trenches along with the founders. So I know exactly, what you're talking about. That is true. This phase might take 18 months, and we have to have a proper financial planning to actually execute it. So that is where I need your assistance. That is exactly where I want your guidance. So these are a couple of questions that I have, probably, that will actually answer the same points that you have put forward so forth.
Yeah. Not financeable as it stands, I don't think.
Yeah.
You're going to need to do a lot more validation and a lot more model development before it can even, be fundable. But you seem to have. Where are you located, by the way, Pramod?
Trivandrum, India, Kerala.
Right, Kerala. So one of the things that you need to consider is you have this other technical support business, and to see if that business can finance your bootstrapping of this other business.
Yep. That's a good suggestion, Sramana. We were actually thinking of funneling some of the revenue from there here. So that's already thought about. But again, we would like to validate it further and take your assistance to.
Yeah, so we'll be happy to help you build the business. That's what we do for, that's our business. So we would be very happy to help you with that. But there are, these kinds of situations of, I think both you and actually all of you are saying the same thing or asking the same questions, is that, how do you get to a certain level of validation whereby you can prove to investors that there is scalability in these models? Because there's a little bit of something here, and maybe you have to put like 1 foot before the other, and that 1 foot before the other is something that is incredibly important to show in the early stages of the business, and every step needs to validate some of the assumptions with which investors, institutional investors who are looking for scalable businesses, find you know, that, okay, yeah, this is something that we can, if we put money in, this is going to scale. That is the thought process of investors. Except if you're doing friends and family investors. If your brother-in-law is going to invest, he's going to invest not necessarily because of scalability, he's going to invest because of you. That's okay. But if you're talking to professional investors who are investing in the business, they're also investing in you, but they're also investing in scalable business models. And that's something that you have to, you know, show more with more granular details of customers, of channels, of, you know, repeatability in how you acquire customers and how you service customers and how you extract money from customers. Okay, so let me check with Maureen. Hang on, I will tell you more about how we can, you know, how we work with customers, entrepreneurs in a bit. But let me first check. Maureen, what is going on with Kiran Kumar, who's not online anymore? Is Kiran Kumar on the line? He was on the line earlier, but it seems to be not.
Sramana, sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to ask you one question. You know,
go ahead.
Do you want me to wait, or do you want me to continue creating the knowledge base?
Go ahead.
No, I was asking you, do you want me to wait, or do you want me to continue creating the knowledge base? You know?
So this is a decision that you have to take. If you have you decided that you want to do this business?
Yeah, I did, but you know, do you want me to wait till we actually, you know, I'm thinking, should I stall operations now or should I continue?
So, you know, we prefer that you do not build a business, you do not start investing in developing products until you do certain level of validation of, you know, following methodology that we propose. So, if you decide that you are going to join the program, then I would recommend that you give yourself at least a month to go through at least some portion of the 1M1M curriculum, get your arms around what are the issues that you need to pay attention to, and then decide whether you want to move forward with this business or you want to do some other business. Because it looks like you're still at a very concept stage. You have another business that is actually producing the revenues, and this one is at a concept stage. So there are question marks around whether this is the right business to build for you, because there are other issues of doing this business from India, because you wouldn't be able to do very easily all the configurations that come up because of the telecom providers that these phones work with and so forth. It's kind of cumbersome actually to be able to do this business from India.
Understand that, Sramana, but you know, we produce a lot of engineers here, so technical staffing is not a problem.
It's not an issue of engineers. It's an issue of having access to those configurations to test and for your knowledge base to be robust. You will have to seed this knowledge base with your own staff. You can't. I don't think this is going to be an entirely crowdsourced knowledge base, because that's going to make the quality of your knowledge base highly questionable.
Got you. So my question is, Sramana, do you think we should let it grow organically, or do you think, you know, we should go for funding? Because what I'm seeing right now is,
for funding, you will not get funding right now. This is not a fundable situation.
All right, got you. So no problem, Sramana. I think, you know, we can discuss this over probably after, you know, I join the 1M1M session. We'll take it forward from there.
That's fine.
All right.
Okay, so Kiran Kumar is not online from what I can tell, and Suren Pathuri is not online either. Wonderful. So we're going to skip through their presentations, and I'm going to actually ask for audience questions if you want to ask questions at this point before we go into the 1M1M segment. Audience, do you have questions? You feel free to start asking your questions in the public chat. And while you're doing that, I'm going to also tell you about how we work with. I see there are questions in the public chat about 1M1M itself. So here are the resources that you can access through 1M1M at various levels. So our website is 1m1m.sramana.com. And access the blog series at sramanamitra.com free of charge. There's all our content is completely available on the blog free of charge. So you get tons of case studies, tons of material that you can start using right away, and a lot of people are using them free of charge. And then you have the Entrepreneur Journeys book series, which are available at Amazon, Kindle, internationally, and Flipkart. And these books basically start to show you some of the methodology of what we use. And there are two cornerstone philosophies in the 1M1M methodology. We believe in a very lean, capital-efficient startup building process. And bootstrapping is a very key piece of that. Positioning is another very key piece of that. So you cannot build a lean, capital-efficient startup unless you do a very thorough job of positioning. So Uma, the reason I was challenging you on your competitive positioning is that you pretty much need laser-sharp competitive positioning and segmentation, targeting, and everything to be able to be successful in startups these days. And so you have to learn how to do bootstrapping effectively, and you have to learn how to do positioning effectively. There are two books that start to outline those philosophies: bootstrapping, of mass reconstruction, and positioning, how to test, validate, and bring your idea to market. And then you also have these strategy roundtables on a weekly basis that you can access, and again, free of charge. This is our 125th roundtable, so we have lots of entrepreneurs coming through this program and utilizing these programs. The premium program has extensive methodology guidance, and this is the lean capital efficient startup methodology. It teaches you validation methodology, it teaches you bootstrapping methodology, and all the granular details of customer acquisition and so forth. We teach that with a curriculum that is case studies and video lectures. We also help you with business development and connecting you where appropriate with customers and channel partners. What we were talking about earlier with the UK relationship is that there's a large channel opening up for a large consumer channel opening up for 1M1M entrepreneurs to reach 130 million consumers, and that is something for which we will gear you up, and where appropriate we'll connect those dots, and we have other such relationships as well. Strategy consulting, what we're doing here is essentially strategy consulting, right? You got some free strategy consulting at these roundtables. In the premium program, we have additional, more in-depth versions of strategy consulting, and the combination of the curriculum and strategy consulting is what makes our program scalable. A lot of the questions that we get at these sessions are already built in as curriculum modules, which you can use to develop your knowledge of methodology and how you build, how you put one foot before the other. It's essentially a blueprint of how you put your one foot before the other and how you make business decisions. Like what Pramod was just asking, should he start building this product? Should you start building this product now, the knowledge base? Well, there is more validation you can do before you make that decision, and it probably is a good idea to take yourself through that process before investing another, you're probably not committing to 6 months of development. You're committing to 18 months of bootstrapping quite likely, and you want to make an informed decision of whether this is the right business for you to spend those 18 months on. These are the kinds of decisions that are critical business decisions at early stage companies. And then when you're ready, we will help you with financing, but you have to be ready. I can look at a bunch of your businesses, the 3 businesses we worked on today. None of those are ready for financing. There's a lot of work that you need to do still before they're going to be ready for financing. Okay, so just pointers again. You have a self-assessment page on the 1M1M site, and we strongly recommend that you go take yourself through that self-assessment page. And it's a 9-point self-assessment that you really need to take yourself through to assess where you are. And if you are in the premium program, we also have curriculum modules attached to the self-assessment, so you can learn the various pieces of the self-assessment. To learn more about the premium program, you can also go to the top right corner where you have premium program FAQ, and there are also video messages that address those FAQs. The premium program link takes you to what to expect from the premium program. The curriculum is split into two parts. We have the core curriculum and electives. The core curriculum covers bootstrapping, positioning, market sizing. Market sizing, by the way, is something that all of you need to do, and a bottom-up market sizing analysis is what is needed. And over and over again, we get questions about bottom-up market analysis, and you really need to develop a bottom-up market analysis model to determine whether you will ever be a fundable company, whether your business model supports fundability. Then we do customer validation, financing, customer acquisition, and team building. These are the 7 core modules, and as soon as you join the program, we would like you to digest as much of this core module as possible, core curriculum as possible. Then you have electives. Each of those electives are aligned with the various trends in the industry: Web 3.0 and e-commerce, cloud computing and business solutions, mobile and social apps, healthcare IT, online education, gaming, outsourcing. All these are trends in the industry, and we have curriculum modules supporting the building of businesses alongside those trends. And so the question that Clifford here is asking, if bootstrapping can take a business to reach its goal in 5 years and equity can take it there in 1 year, will you advise it to continue bootstrapping or go for funding? You can go for funding if your business is fundable. Not all businesses are fundable. This is a very poorly understood phenomenon in the startup business. You really do need to understand whether your business is fundable or not. And we give you the tools to make that assessment and make your business decisions accordingly. So as I said, the curriculum is case studies and video lectures. In the case studies, we have over 500 successful entrepreneurs who have come on to this program and shared their success strategies and success stories with us, with you. So this program is not only taught by me, it's taught by over 500 successful entrepreneurs. You need to take advantage of what they're offering you to be able to short-circuit your own learning in this business. That's pretty much it. As far as the program is concerned, you're most welcome to join, and Irina, who's in the room, has offered you, I think, her contact information. You can talk to her to get any further questions answered. That's pretty much it. So those of you who are organizers, entrepreneurship development organizers, you're very welcome to join as a 1M1M affiliate. We partner very well. We offer 10% affiliate commission to our affiliate partners. And here are the upcoming free roundtables: May 10th, May 31st, June 7th, June 14th, June 21st, June 28th. And we also have a whole bunch of scholarship programs and the finals for the scholarships coming up, in that window. That's pretty much all I have to share with you. Are there other questions? I see Clifford's questions, but are there other people with questions in the audience? If you have questions, now is the time to ask. We'll try to answer as much as we can. Uma, it looks like Irina has already answered your question.
Yes, I'm thinking about joining the program, and especially since you have touched upon the same conundrum we have at this point.
Yes, absolutely. This is a conundrum that every entrepreneur has. What you're calling a chicken and an egg is really, it is a chicken and egg, yes, but there are definitive ways of what is going to happen and what is not going to happen, and it's better for you to know what is likely to happen, what are your options early on, as opposed to just spinning in place. You started your business in 2009, we're in 2012, and you're still spinning in place, and that's not useful.
No, we've not been. We've been trying to validate the concept and talk to different people who may want to be customers or channel partners, but we didn't proceed with development because we didn't have the money for it. So
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So you need to find other ways. There are other ways of mitigating that situation, and you need to find those other ways and put them in place so that you don't spin in place. Clifford, you're asking the funding you offer. What is the ceiling? We don't offer any funding at all. 1 million by 1 million is not a fund. So we do have a few more minutes. If you have other questions, feel free to ask your questions or comments, whatever.
Sramana, what do you think about the accelerator or incubator programs? For example, there is an incubator fund called Flashpoint that was started recently by the Atlanta Technology Development Center, which is a Georgia Tech-based incubator here. They give $25,000 once you do the concept review and presentation to them if they accept you. But at the end of the they give $25,000 to get started, and also they give 3 months of mentorship to help you write the business plan, access to investors, and so forth. But my feeling is that it's once you take the $25,000, you would be under tremendous pressure to raise the money for this fund because we would need at least $175,000. So 25 met, we need another 150. If NSF doesn't fund us for some reason, or DOD doesn't fund, then we are still up in a battle in raise money, and we would be under more pressure. And I addressed this question with Flashpoint. They said we don't mind as long as you are set on your goals and we validate you, we accept you into the program, but we would help you, but there's no guarantee that you would be able to raise any seed money at all. So what happens if we take the 25,000 or 75,000 any accelerator or incubator program would give us, and we would be under tremendous pressure to succeed? It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing because we'll be on the marathon. But don't you think you know, if we don't get any funding, would be under tremendous amount of stress? Either bootstrapping or?
So, you know, mostly if you take outside money and you don't deliver on the milestones, then you basically are under pressure to, you basically lose staying power because there are other investors who are demanding certain performance from you, and you cannot meet those goals. So I think it's better to, you need to know what you're doing, what you're going to do with those 25,000. 25,000 doesn't get you to any milestone, then that 25,000 doesn't help. Really what you need to do right now is get in front of customers and get your competitive positioning straightened. You need to potentially get some contracts, you know, service contracts potentially, where people who are looking for this kind of solutions are willing to pay you, and you need to convince them that you have the capabilities to deliver on what they're asking for, and get them to pay for stuff. It's customer payment, it's revenue that you need. It's not $25,000 of incubator money. In some cases, if you have those pieces together, then you can take their incubator money and it'll give you some additional runway, and you get some additional resources and so forth. But that's the band-aid, it's not a solution.
Yeah, I agree. I think looking for a contract purchaser, DOD is one of the best contract purchaser for solutions like this. They have exactly the same problem, but again, you know, there's a certain timeline we need to apply and communicate with them. It has to be done in a certain way. NSF has a certain format and ways of reporting and so forth. So once we are on that track, then we are probably packaging the solution for that one customer. We are not looking at the larger market, and you know, maybe we can succeed with at least building the product for DOD or NSF.
You should not build a product. This is where I think you're going off. You should not build a product without customers in the loop. You have to have a dozen customers in the loop so that you have a good understanding of why you're building, what you're building, and for whom you're building that.
In the case of DOD, it's a single customer. They're called contract purchaser. They fund you and they take the product from you. You know, you have to team up with an implementer to get the product onto their departments, and they are single customer. They fund you any tiny bit, but it doesn't actually. When you're working on that project, you're probably not working on packaging the product for the larger commercial customers outside market. So
yeah, but if you work in the same domain of where you're delivering projects versus, anyway, we have a whole module on this called bootstrapping using services. I recommend that you go through that, go through the case studies on how people are doing this, and that may be your best starting point. Sure. It's a much longer discussion. I mean, it'll take me you know, a good hour and a half to take you through all that, but you can go through that in the curriculum, and you'll have that knowledge that you need to have. That is a very urgent order of business for you to learn that bootstrapping using services mechanism.
Okay, yep. I'm already looking into the program. Hopefully we started soon.
Right. So let me read some of the comments here. Clifford, is there a way to advocate e-commerce payment gateways like PayPal to open up for web entrepreneurs, freelancers, and online shops in Nigeria? I have no idea. I have no idea if PayPal has presence in Nigeria. Why not? I have no idea. So you should contact PayPal and ask them. I don't know. Priyanka, if you're outside US or UK, beware of chargebacks. No seller protection is offered by PayPal outside US and UK. Your customer might file a chargeback after getting your product or service, and you can't do anything about it. Okay, good observation. How much of my business can I give to a VC? That is a very subjective question. It depends on what stage your business is in, and how much validation you've done, what kind of traction you're showing, and that determines the valuation of your company. Clifford, you're asking a lot of very random questions. You are, what is this 10%? What you're saying makes no sense. I think you need some very basic knowledge of how to build a business and how to navigate a business. You're completely shooting from the hip right now. Any other questions, comments? That's right. Priyanka is exactly right. There's no rule of thumb. Okay. That is a very, very incorrect approach. You just wanted to get answers to some random questions. A very incorrect approach to building a business. Okay, anybody else? Any other questions, comments? Clifford, if you're really trying to understand this puzzle, you should join the program and learn what you need to learn, and all these questions you'll get a much deeper understanding of. These random shooting from the hip questions don't really help you answer any questions. I don't think I've answered any of your questions with any meaningful level of depth, because those questions are not answerable. All right. Looks like we have tackled all the questions that have come up, and there are some people that we have not, who are in the room that we have not heard from at all. I'd actually like to, if you're in the room and if you've not introduced yourself, please take the public chat space and introduce yourselves. I'd love to hear from you. Where are you joining from? What are you working on? Let me call out some names. Daniel Watkins, Harish Ramakrishnan, Jimmy Kiwele, we haven't heard from you at all. Connie Xiong, Chris Kapadia, Priyanka we've heard from, Rolando Richardson, Ronnie Hugan. These are some people we've not heard from at all. If you have not introduced yourselves, please use the public chat to tell us where you're joining from, what are you working on, and give us some context. That'll be, interesting for you, interesting for us to get to know you a bit. I know Priyanka is joining from Calcutta. Clifford has said he's joining from Nigeria. Pramod is joining from Kerala. He's already introduced himself. Uma is in Georgia. We've heard from some of the other people here. Irina, of course, is in Miami. We had Stephen from London. Harish is the co-founder, also in Kerala, to Pramod's company. Okay, well, Connie is in San Francisco Bay Area. Connie, what are you working on? What is your project? Anybody else? Any of the other people in the room? Do you want to introduce yourselves? Ronnie is going to join the program, developing an online parachute flight simulator based in New York City. Okay. Priyankar works on graphic design crowdsourcing. Connie is working on Cosiva.com, jewelry home delivery business, some traction, interesting. Rolando Richardson from Frisco, Texas, first roundtable. Okay, welcome. Priyankar's company is shopfordesigns.com. So if you're looking for design outsourcing, you can look in Priyankar's site. Crowdsourcing is a big trend these days. Lots of people are building crowdsourcing businesses. We've seen one today also. Pramod's business has crowdsourcing nuances. Cool. Well, hopefully we're going to have a chance to listen to your various presentations of what you're working on and how we can help you in the upcoming sessions. For now, I will wrap up the session, and we will see you next week. May 10th is our next roundtable. Let's put that schedule back on track. And so May 10th is the next online roundtable. And then on May 22nd, we have the live roundtable at Tech Hub in London, which I believe Stephen is going to be at as well. That is a final of a business plan competition with Tech Hub and ANN Media, for which ANN Media will be awarding scholarships. And we will also have, will you be able to view that? Priyankar, I'm not sure if you'll be able to view that. I don't believe we are broadcasting that event because the time is it's an evening event in London. And then we have on May 31st, June 7, June 14, 21st, 28th, we have the same format roundtables, and again we have various partners joining us for those. We have also the finals of the Blue Snap ELANS scholarship events. Those you will be able to view those finals online. And I think Maureen will be able to give you the exact dates. I think June 4th and June 7th are the two finals for the Blue Snap and ELANS events, right, Maureen? And then there's going to be we're going to do London School of Economics finals on one of these sessions, and so forth. Pramod, you're asking, can you pitch for live roundtable at London? If you're based in London, you can, but you're not based in London, so I don't see how you pitch in the London roundtable. All right, so I will see you next week for sure, and then we will also see you through the other roundtable. Some of you I will meet you in person, it looks like, in London, and elsewhere in due course, hopefully. Priyanka, were you at the Thai event in Calcutta recently? Yes. You can tell people about what's going on there. Actually, we have quite a few members from Calcutta right now. Abhishek Rungta, whom you probably know, he was at the meeting as well. Sudeep Samadar, I think he was at the meeting as well. So you guys are starting to find some traction in Calcutta. I was recently in Calcutta and met a whole bunch of people there. I was also in Pune recently, met a whole bunch of entrepreneurs there, including lots of premium members, and Bangalore, of course, tons of them. So we'll continue to meet online, and then, in due course, I'll be visiting some of your geographies and hopefully meet you in person. So have a good day, have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you soon. Bye, everybody.